My phone buzzed at exactly 2:13 a.m. Not loud, not urgent, just enough to pull me out of sleep, like a hand brushing across my face. I didn't move at first. I just lay there, staring into the dark, trying to decide if it had actually happened or if my brain had made it up. Then it buzzed again. I reached over blindly, knocking my water bottle onto the floor before I finally grabbed the phone. The screen lit up my room in that pale artificial blue that always makes everything feel colder than it is. Unknown sender. No number, no name, just that. I almost didn't open it. I get spam all the time. Weird links, fake delivery notices, all that garbage. Normally I delete them without thinking. But something about this felt deliberate. I tapped the message. Your delivery is on the way. Arrival 2:45 a.m. Please be ready. I stared at it for a long moment, waiting for the rest of it to load, like maybe there'd be a tracking link, or a company name, or literally anything that made sense. Nothing came. I frowned and checked the time again. 2:14 a.m. Who delivers anything at nearly 3 in the morning? I sat up, leaning back against the headboard, the sheets bunching around my waist as I reread the message. My first thought was obvious. Scam. It had to be. Maybe they were hoping I'd reply or click something, but there was nothing to click. Just the message. Your delivery is on the way. I exhaled slowly and rubbed my eyes. Yeah, okay, I muttered to myself. Sure it is. I went to delete it. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then I stopped, because I realized something that made my stomach tighten just a little. Not unfamiliar. Just not there. I tapped the sender again, opening the contact info. Blank. No details. No option to block. No call history. Nothing. That wasn't normal. A small, stupid part of me felt a flicker of curiosity. The same kind that makes you open a door in a horror movie even when you know you shouldn't. I typed back before I could talk myself out of it. Who is this? The message sent instantly. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, the 3 dots appeared. My chest tightened. They were typing. I don't know why that bothered me so much. It should have been reassuring, right? It meant there was a real person on the other end. But it didn't feel like that. It felt like something had been waiting. The reply came through. You'll see. That was it. No explanation. No name. No correction like wrong number or sorry. Just that. You'll see. I let out a short, uneasy laugh and shook my head. All right, I said quietly. Weird joke. Got it. I tossed the phone onto the bed beside me and lay back down, pulling the blanket up to my chin. I told myself I was overthinking it, that someone had probably mistyped a number, that maybe this was some kind of viral marketing thing or a prank, that it didn't matter. But I didn't go back to sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence of my apartment, waiting. At 2:44 a.m., my phone buzzed again. I grabbed it immediately. Your delivery has arrived. I sat up so fast the room tilted for a second. What? I whispered. I swung my legs over the side of the bed and just sat there, staring at the message, my heart beating faster now, for no real reason I could explain. Then I heard it. A soft sound. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a single, dull thump from somewhere outside my apartment door. I froze. For a few seconds, I didn't move at all. Then, slowly, I stood up. The floor felt cold under my feet as I stepped into the hallway. Every small sound suddenly sharper, louder. The hum of the fridge, the faint buzz of the overhead light. I moved toward the front door, each step slower than the last. Another thought hit me then, one that made my chest tighten even more. There hadn't been any footsteps, no knock, just that one sound. I reached the door and hesitated. Then I leaned forward slightly, peering through the peephole. The hallway outside was empty, completely empty. The fluorescent light flickered faintly, casting that sickly yellow glow over the carpet and walls. No movement. Nothing. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. See, I muttered. Nothing. I unlocked the door anyway. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe something else. The lock clicked loudly in the silence. I opened the door slowly, the hinges creaking just a little as it swung inward. At first, I didn't see anything. Then I looked down. There was a box. Small, plain, brown cardboard. No label, no tape, just sitting there, waiting. My name was written on the top in black marker. I crouched down, staring at it. The handwriting was neat, careful, almost practiced. I glanced back up and down the hallway again. Still empty. "Okay," I said under my breath. Not funny, but my voice sounded thinner than I expected. I reached out and touched the box. It was warm, not room temperature. Warm, like someone had been holding it. I pulled my hand back instinctively, my pulse jumping. For a moment, I just stared at it. Then, slowly, I picked it up. It was lighter than I expected. I stepped back into the apartment and shut the door quickly, locking it without thinking. The click echoed louder than it should have. I carried the box into the kitchen, setting it down on the counter under the harsh overhead light. Up close, it looked even stranger. No seams, no folds, no tape, just a perfectly shaped box. I ran my fingers along the edges. Smooth, too smooth. "Let's see what you are." I lifted the lid. Inside, there was a phone. Black, sleek, brand new. The screen was already on, and it was displaying a video. I didn't remember pressing anything. I didn't remember turning it on, but the video was playing anyway. It showed my apartment door from the hallway. The same flickering light, the same empty space. I leaned closer, my breath catching. The timestamp in the corner read 2:42 a.m. 2 minutes before I got the message, before the sound, before I opened the door. The camera angle shifted slightly, and then I saw it. The door handle, slowly, quietly, turning from the outside. I dropped the phone. It hit the counter with a sharp crack and skidded to the edge before stopping. The video still playing, the tiny speaker letting out a faint hiss of static beneath the sound. For a second, I just stood there, staring at it like it might move on its own. Then, I grabbed it again. The footage hadn't stopped. The handle finished turning, and then, the door opened. Not forced, just a slow, careful movement. Like whoever was on the other side didn't want to make a sound. The hallway beyond stayed empty. No one stepped into view. Nothing crossed the frame. But the door was open. I felt my chest tighten as I glanced over my shoulder toward my real front door, still closed, still locked. Then I looked back at the screen. The camera moved. Not smoothly, not like a mounted camera. It shifted the way a person does when they're standing still but adjusting their grip. Whoever was filming was holding it, watching, waiting. The video continued. Seconds passed. Nothing happened. Then slowly, the camera began to move forward, toward the open doorway. My breathing got shallow. "No," I whispered. "No, no." The camera crossed the threshold, into my apartment. The angle dipped slightly, like the person filming was stepping carefully, deliberately. And then, the video cut. The screen went black. For a moment, I just stared at my reflection in the dark glass. Then the phone buzzed in my hand. A new message, from the same unknown sender. Delivery completed. My fingers felt numb as I lowered the phone. "That's not funny," I said out loud, my voice shaking now. "That's not, whoever this is, that's not funny." Silence answered me. Thick, heavy. I turned slowly, scanning my apartment. Living room, empty. Just me. Hallway leading to the bedroom. Dark, but still. Nothing out of place, nothing moved. And yet, my eyes drifted back to the front door. I knew I had locked it. I remembered the sound, the click. But now, staring at it, I felt something crawling up the back of my neck. A doubt. A quiet, persistent thought. Check it. I stepped closer. Each footstep felt too loud, too deliberate, like something was listening. I reached the door and stared at the lock. It was still turned, still in the locked position. I let out a breath. "See?" I said softly. "You're just freaking yourself out." I reached for the handle, paused. Then, slowly, I pulled it open. The hallway outside looked exactly the same as before. Empty, silent, unchanged. No box now, no sign that anything had ever been there. I leaned out slightly, looking both directions. Nothing. No doors opening, no footsteps retreating. No one. I shut the door again, locking it firmly this time, testing it twice, just to be sure. Then I stepped back. My heart was still racing, but logic was starting to push its way back in. "Okay," I said, running a hand through my hair. "Think. Someone had to be messing with me. That video, it could have been recorded earlier. Maybe someone in the building, maybe a neighbor. Maybe..." My phone buzzed again. I flinched. Slowly, I looked down. Another message. "Prepare for next delivery. Arrival 3:10 a.m. My stomach dropped. "No," I said immediately. "No, I'm not doing this." I backed away from the counter, shaking my head. This is stupid. I'm not playing along. I grabbed my own phone, the real one, and quickly opened my contacts. Police. My thumb hovered over the call button. I hesitated. What would I even say? "Hi, someone sent me a creepy video in a box with a phone in it?" They'd think I was wasting their time. Or worse. Still, I looked back at the other phone, the one from the box. It was still on, still open. The black screen now replaced by a simple line of text. "Live feed available." I felt a cold wave pass through me. Slowly, I picked it up again. "There's no way," I whispered. But my finger moved anyway. I tapped the screen. The video opened instantly. Not recorded this time. Live. The same hallway. The same flickering light. The same angle as before. I felt my breath catch. "This is right now." As if to confirm it, a digital clock appeared in the corner. 3:07 a.m. current time. I looked back toward my door, then back to the screen. Nothing yet. Just the empty hallway. But now it felt different. Now it felt like something was about to happen. I couldn't look away. 3:08. 3:09. The seconds ticked forward. Loud in my head. Then, movement. At the far end of the hallway, something stepped into frame. At first, I couldn't tell what I was looking at. Too tall. Too thin. Its limbs looked stretched, like they didn't quite bend the way they should. It moved slowly. Not walking. Not quite. More like shifting forward. I felt my throat go dry. "No," I whispered. "No, that's not." The thing stopped. Its head turned slightly. Not toward the camera, toward my door. My grip tightened on the phone. It knew. Somehow, it knew. Then it started moving again, closer. Each movement slow, deliberate, unhurried, like it had all the time in the world. I stumbled back a step. My heart was pounding so hard, it hurt. "Okay," I said, panic creeping into my voice now. "Okay, this isn't real. This is fake." But I couldn't look away. The thing reached my door. It stood there, still. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, it raised one long, thin arm and knocked. 3 soft taps. I froze. The sound echoed through my apartment. Real, clear. Not from the phone, from the door. My chest felt like it was going to cave in. The phone buzzed again in my hand. New message. "Your delivery is waiting. Please open the door." I didn't move. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to stay exactly where I was, to stay quiet, to pretend I wasn't even there. Another knock. Same rhythm. 3 soft taps. Not aggressive, not impatient, just certain. Like it knew I was on the other side. My grip tightened around the phone until my knuckles hurt. I forced myself to look down at the screen again. The thing was still there. right outside my door, standing unnaturally straight, its head tilted slightly, like it was listening, waiting. "Okay," I whispered, my voice barely there. "Okay, think." My eyes darted around the apartment, like I might find some kind of answer just sitting on the counter or tucked into a corner. There was nothing. Just me and that door. The phone buzzed again. I flinched so hard I almost dropped it. Second notice. Delivery pending. Failure to accept may result in escalation. "What does that even mean?" I said, louder this time, panic creeping in around the edges. The thing on the screen didn't move, but somehow that felt worse, like it didn't need to, like it already had control. Another knock, this time a little louder. I stumbled backward, shaking my head. No, I'm not opening that. Silence. Then, a new sound. Not from the door, from behind me. A faint creak. I turned slowly. The hallway inside my apartment, the one leading to my bedroom. The darkness there felt deeper now. Thicker. Wrong. I swallowed hard. "No," I whispered. No. Something shifted in the shadows. Just slightly. But enough. My heart slammed against my ribs. I looked back at the phone. The live feed still showed the thing outside. Still waiting. Then I looked back at the hallway. The darkness seemed to breathe, expand, contract. Like something inside it was trying to take shape. The phone buzzed again. Final notice. Delivery must be accepted. I felt trapped. Completely trapped. Front door, whatever that thing was. Inside, something else. Something I couldn't even see clearly. "This isn't real," I said, but my voice broke halfway through. "This can't be real." The lights flickered. Once, twice, then steadied. The hallway went still again, but I knew something was there now, watching me, waiting, just like the thing outside. I looked down at the phone again, my mind racing. "This is a setup," I said quickly, grasping for anything that made sense. "They want me to open the door. That's the point. So I just don't." But even as I said it, I knew it wasn't that simple, because something had already gotten inside. Another creak from the hallway. Closer this time. I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes. "Stop," I whispered. "Please, just stop." The phone screen flickered. The live feed glitched for a second. Then, the angle changed. I froze. It wasn't showing the hallway outside anymore. It was showing my living room. From behind me, I saw myself, standing there, frozen, holding the phone. My breath caught in my throat. "No," I said slowly. "No, that's not." The camera angle was wrong. Too high, too far back, like it was mounted near the ceiling. But I didn't have any cameras in my apartment. I never had. The version of me on the screen started to move. A slight shift, a twitch, but I hadn't moved. I was still standing completely still. My stomach dropped. "Don't," I whispered, staring at the screen. "Don't do that." The thing behind the camera, whatever was filming inside my apartment, tilted slightly, watching me, watching the other me. The version on the screen turned its head, slowly, too smoothly, until it was looking directly into the camera. Its face, my face, was wrong. The expression didn't match anything I was feeling. It was smiling. Wide. Too wide. The phone buzzed again. Delivery alternate available. I couldn't breathe. On the screen, the other me took a step forward. Then another. Moving toward the camera. Toward whatever was filming. My real body finally reacted. I stumbled backward, shaking my head violently. No. Behind me, a whisper, right next to my ear. "You waited too long." I spun around with a shout. Nothing. The hallway was empty again, but the air felt colder, heavier. I turned back to the phone. The screen had changed again. Now it showed the front door, from inside, the handle, slowly turning. My heart stopped. I locked it, I whispered. I locked it. The handle kept turning, slow, deliberate. The lock clicked on its own, and then the door began to open. The door opened just a few inches at first, enough to let the hallway light spill into the apartment in a thin, pale strip. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. The phone slipped slightly in my hand, but I didn't notice. My entire focus was locked on that door as it continued to open, inch by inch, with no sound except the faint creak of the hinges. Then it stopped, halfway open. Nothing stepped through. No hand, no shadow, just the open doorway, waiting. The silence pressed in around me so hard, it felt like pressure in my ears. Then the phone buzzed again. I looked down, my vision tunneling. Final delivery attempt. The screen shifted back to the live feed. The hallway outside. Empty. The thing was gone. My stomach dropped. No. Where did it? A sound interrupted me. Behind me. A soft step. Inside the apartment. I turned slowly and saw it, standing in the living room, between me and the hallway. Too tall, too thin. Its limbs bent at angles that didn't make sense, like joints were suggestions instead of rules. Its skin, or whatever passed for it, looked stretched tight in some places and loose in others, like it didn't quite fit. Its face, I couldn't process its face. Every time I tried to focus on it, my vision seemed to slide away, like my brain refused to lock onto the details. But I could feel it looking at me. I could feel the weight of its attention. "Please," I said, my voice shaking uncontrollably now. "Please, just go away." It didn't move, didn't react. Then it raised one arm, slowly, and pointed at the phone in my hand. I swallowed hard. "You want this?" I asked weakly. The thing tilted its head, just slightly. Then, in a voice that sounded like it was coming from too many places at once, "Delivery incomplete." My knees nearly gave out. No, I got it," I said quickly. I opened the box. I watched the video. Incorrect. The word cut through the air. Flat. Final. "Then what do you want from me?" It didn't answer right away. Instead, it took a step closer. The movement was wrong. Not like walking. More like it skipped the space in between, closing the distance in a way that made my head hurt to look at. "You," it said. My chest tightened. "What?" "Acceptance." The word echoed slightly, like it wasn't meant to be heard in a normal way. I shook my head, backing up until I hit the kitchen counter. "I don't understand. What am I supposed to do?" The thing pointed again. Not at the phone this time, at the open front door. My breath caught. "No," I said immediately. "No, I'm not going out there." The hallway beyond the door looked darker now. Longer, like it stretched farther than it should. "You must receive," the thing said. "I already did." "Not fully." My mind raced, trying to piece it together. "The first package," I said. "The phone. That was step 1, right? And now this. This is step 2. The thing didn't respond, but something about the silence felt like confirmation. I swallowed hard. "And if I don't?" I asked. The thing tilted its head again. Then, slowly, it pointed past me. I turned, and my stomach dropped. At the far end of my apartment, near the bedroom hallway, something was standing there. Another one. And behind it, movement. More shapes. More of them. Filling the darkness. Watching. Waiting. My voice came out as a whisper. "How many?" The one in front of me answered. "As many as required." My hand started shaking uncontrollably. "This isn't real," I said, but there was no conviction left in it. "This can't be real. Delivery ensures reality." That didn't make sense. None of this made sense. But the alternative, that I could just refuse, that didn't feel real either. Because they were already here. Inside. I looked back at the open door. The hallway beyond seemed to shift slightly, like heat distortion, like it wasn't just a hallway anymore. After I go out there, I said slowly, forcing the words out. What happens? A pause. Then, next delivery. Something in my chest cracked. A quiet, hopeless sound escaped me. So, it doesn't stop. The thing didn't answer. It didn't have to. I looked down at the phone one last time. The screen now showed a countdown. 0010, 009, 008. What happens when that hits zero? My voice barely holding together. The thing stepped closer. Close enough now that I could feel cold radiating off it. Escalation. 005, 004. I let out a shaky breath. Okay. I didn't have a choice. That was the truth of it. Whatever this was, it wasn't a prank. It wasn't a mistake. It was a system. And I was already in it. I moved. Slowly at first, then faster. Before I could stop myself, before I could think too hard about what I was doing, I stepped past the thing. It didn't stop me. Didn't move. Just watched. I reached the door. The air beyond it felt colder, heavier, wrong. I hesitated, just for a second. Then, I stepped out. The moment my foot crossed the threshold, everything changed. The hallway stretched, warped. The walls pulled away from each other, elongating into something that wasn't part of my building anymore. Doors lined the sides, dozens of them, all identical, all slightly open. And from each one, I could hear something. Voices, screaming, crying, whispering. My phone buzzed one last time. I looked down. New message. Your delivery is on the way. I slowly turned back toward my apartment. The door was gone. In its place, another identical door, already opening. Something inside it, something familiar, started to step out.